Welcome to the Let's Talk BS podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Sofia, and we're coming to you live from the
757, where we discuss real estate,
culture, and current events.
Hey, good morning, Sophia. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's Friday.
Always a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Friday. What's the 17th, right? No. Excuse me, the 14th of June.
Yeah, it's the 14th of June.
Yeah, Father's Day weekend,
Okay.
You know.
You got any special plans this weekend?
Nah, I don't got any special plans. I know what I'll typically do is I'll probably cook on the grill on Sunday, on Father's Day. It's a golf tournament that I've been kind of watching on TV, and my son, is funny, he's kind of got into watching, golf with me as well now. So we'll probably just lock in. I'm pretty sure Brooke will do, something, as well. She always kind of surprises me when it comes to certain things. So I'm sure she got a little something up her sleeve, but we haven't really talked about much, just kind of chill. And she's like, hey, whatever you want to do, you want to do. So I know Mother's Day, she kind of, I kind of took over, as far as like some of her duties that she typically would do in the house. So I think she just probably let me relax on Sunday and just kick back and chill. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, I can't. I know everybody, Mother's Day was funny. I was, where was I at? I think I was at the barbershop and they were talking about the difference between Mother's Day and Father's Day.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a difference.
Right. Okay. As long as you understand. Do you know what kind of difference I'm talking about though? Or
the recognition of it.
So
nobody really does anything. Like even if you go to the store, like y'all got cards out. But it's nothing really out there for you guys.
That's messed
when it's
up,
Mother's
man.
Day, though,
there's
flowers. Yeah. People be selling stuff on the corner.
Yeah. Like it's like a real national holiday. Like I don't understand. Yeah. We always look. Us fellas always getting the short end of the stick, man. I tell you that.
Hey,
boy.
But some, not to be mean, but a lot of fellas just don't do what they gotta do when it comes to their kids. I
ain't talking about them. I'm talking about. The ones that do.
Sometimes it's a collective. That's just how things are sometimes.
I just wish the holiday was, I'm not even saying they got to be the same. Because I know women, I know y'all always going to get more of the glory when it comes to that type of stuff. So I'm not even tripping on that. But it's like an afterthought. Like Mother's Day is like, oh man, like you're planning for it. And the thing about it is, like I'm a guy, right? Yeah. I'm a father. Yeah. So other fathers that I just talk to, when it's leading up to Mother's Day, it's like, hey, what you doing for your wife? What you doing for your significant other? What you doing for your mother? Whatever. But Father's Day, boy, it's like,
how do you know they're not doing that?
Huh?
How do you know that they aren't doing that?
Because, like I'm telling you, like from what I'm around, the people I'm around, that's the conversation. It's like even the mothers are like, hey, well, what are we doing for Mother's Day? Like it's just not talked about that much. That's all.
Okay.
I mean, you disagree with me that it wasn't talked about that much.
Well,
right?
I talked about celebrated is what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like nationally celebrated, like overall. But
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to my fellas out there, man. Nobody wishes you a happy Father's Day. I wish you one, man. Happy Father's Day early. And happy Father's Day to myself.
What's funny? I saw this this Instagram post where these two guys, they were betting on who would call their fathers and which father would pick up the fastest.
So brothers, you saying?
No, just
two guys
who are friends.
Okay.
They're like, I'll call my dad and he go pick up. Another was like, yeah, I'll call my dad. He'll pick up too. He was like, all right, let's see who pick up first. Like type funny. Of thing. Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah. My
and
dad,
I want to say both of the fathers picked up at the same time, but it was kind of hard to hear because it was like live.
Yeah.
And it got like, when somebody picked up, everybody started saying, "Oh, you know how y'all do." Yeah. Men get all loud when they excited, and it just becomes a bunch of gibberish.
Yeah. Man, us men get loud when we excited, and women get loud when they upset. So just the two ends of the spectrum right there. You know what I'm saying? You see that?
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. But now, shout out to, like I said, definitely early happy Father's Day out there.
Yes, happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there taking care of your children.
Yeah, and it's graduation season too, man. I'm
absolutely
excited. My son, he is now on to the first grade starting this fall.
Yeah.
Kids are actually going to a new school this year as well. Both of them are. My daughter, she's going to be in preschool, and then my son, he'll be in the first grade. So I'm very excited. For them, they're excited. We went and did a meet the teacher earlier this week. and met the teacher. So it was cool, man. It was pretty cool. They're really liking the atmosphere. My daughter didn't even want to leave. Like, she was there. She was like, no, I want to stay. And they actually have a summer program, but we were like, nah, we're not going to do that this year. We wanted her to, start in the fall, just like most of the other kids. But yeah, I'm excited for, for that. And like I said, I got to see a lot of other people. My neighbor, we're going by there tomorrow. Their son just graduated high school and having like a little party over at their house as well. So I'm excited.
Do they still call those open houses nowadays? When you graduate from high school, you have an open house, and then people wish you well by giving you. Okay, when I graduated from high school, I had a party, and people wished me well. Like, so whoever was invited, you bring a gift, you bring money, you bring something for your go off to wherever you're going, whether it's the military, whether it's college, whatever. For me, it was college. So then, you can use this money to like fix up your dorm room and,
I'm
deck
trying to
it
think,
out
man.
And stuff like that. We did that heavy where I'm from.
Yo, growing up, I'm trying to think. I don't even think we had no party for I don't think we did none of that, to be honest with you. Like, when I graduated high school, yeah, we did. I can't, because I remember, I would remember if we did. We didn't do anything like big, like, oh,
Oh, yeah. Mine was a huge thing. It was big, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it was just more so, I think a month later, I was getting ready to go to college. I had football scholarship, and you had to report then, I think it was late July. So it was a month after I graduated high school. I remember that summer my parents took me, because I was actually born, a fun fact about me, which most folks who know me, but not everyone knows, right? Know me, right? Most folks who know me like that know that I was born actually in Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island, because my dad, he was military, and he was stationed up there. And so they lived up there, my mom and my dad, for 3 years. And so I was born there. I don't ever remember living there at all, because they moved when I was 2. They moved, my dad got orders actually back to North Carolina, and then ended up moving to Virginia after that. But
yeah, that's like my daughter Amaya. She was born in Michigan, but we moved right away. She's never lived in Michigan, ever.
Yeah. So when it comes to when I graduated high school, one thing that I always wanted to do, and what we ended up doing, was we took a road trip up to Rhode Island. So my dad wanted to show me the hospital that I was born in, the apartment that, my folks lived in and that I lived in when I was young as well. So that was pretty cool, to kind of be able to see, I guess, where you could say where it all started for me. But that's the only memory I have. I did cry though at my high school graduation. I ain't gonna lie, I did that too. I mean, it's crazy. I had a lady, so it's funny. Senora Gomez, I never forget it. She was my Spanish teacher, and me and her used to go at it in Spanish in high school, because she used to be so hard on me, and she was a sister, and it was she thought, because I was speaking a lot of Spanglish, I'm gonna be honest with you, I wasn't really good in Spanish. So I was trying to say words to try to
just like how you said senor.
Okay.
Or senora.
Yeah, that's what we used to call her in school. Again? Senora Gomez. Senora. Sonora? I mean, well, okay, whatever. Anyway, so you okay. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, me and her used to go at it. We had parent-teacher conferences in high school and everything, because she felt that I was trying to act out and be like a comedian, like a class clown, because some of the words that I was using, trying to when it was a question, I would try to answer it in Spanish or whatever, and I would mumble through it, or kind of try to piece things together. So she thought I was trying to be a class clown, which I actually really wasn't. I'm not a class clown at all. And so anyway, at graduation, it was pretty cool how they did it, where they had a tunnel of all the faculty. And so after we, turned our tassels and threw our hat up in the air, they had a big tunnel. We graduated early in the morning. And so we were running through this tunnel, and then she grabbed me and was like, "Bryan, I'm so proud of you." And then she started crying, and I was like, "Oh man, they got me." I started crying.
Aww.
Yeah, because it was we were at it so much, and it was crazy.
You didn't think she cared for you?
Yeah, I really didn't think she cared for me.
That was probably the reason why she was on you, is because she liked you. Look at that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. And it was crazy, because in high school, the way it worked, we had 3 or 4 different Spanish teachers. And so there was Spanish 1 you took, Spanish 2, and Spanish 3. Each year, got progressively tougher, harder or whatever in Spanish. And so most people in those 3 years got 3 different teachers. And maybe 1 year you had the same teacher, And then 1 year, because I mean, it was kind of like a round, right? They try to make sure that you got different people. Lo and behold, I had the same teacher every single year. It was her. So it was just like, I think just that, that kind of just was, we were going back and forth a lot or whatever, man. But I remember my graduation. I remember she grabbed me and was crying. And she was like, I'm so proud of you. And I started crying too. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember crying. No, I don't remember that. But I'm not I am emotional, but I don't cry a lot. Yeah.
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 There's other different ways, I guess, you could show your emotion other than crying. So.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. But yeah. But yeah, high school was fun though.
Yeah.
I do remember all of those days.
Yeah. 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 But how was your last weekend and this week? I know we kind of touched on, a couple things a little bit as far as the upcoming week and what we got going on in graduation season.
Yeah, so my son, he graduated pre-K. So at his school, you actually graduate pre-K.
Okay.
And he's going into kindergarten. So that was fun. Then we went to Sweet Frog and we went to Red Robin's after. We did it backwards, actually.
Oh, yeah, dessert before dinner?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
But
did they eat their dinner?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Red Robin's is cool. So yeah, that's something that if it was like some vegetables and all that, the kids probably wouldn't have been like, to dessert. But
and my son, honestly, he doesn't really. So it's funny. So he loves going to Sweet Frog for the experience. That's it. Right?
Okay.
So when I go to Sweet Frog, if you've ever been to Sweet Frog, it's frozen yogurt and it's like old school style where you pull the machine thing down and then it comes out soft serve. So I only get mango. That's it. I've never had any of the other flavors. That's the only flavor I get. I don't get any toppings. Nothing goes on top of it. I just get the plain mango.
What's the hold on? You don't get all the toppings and stuff on it?
Okay. Nope. So my son, he doesn't do any cookies, chocolate, anything like that. But he loves Skittles, Starburst, gummies, all that stuff.
My kids love the gummy worms, man. They love the gummies on the job.
He gets the gummies, the frogs, the Skittles, and the bears.
Oh wow!
Literally. So he put all that stuff on top, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it looks pretty, right? This boy took his ice cream, put it to the side, and was just like, I just want the mango, mommy. I was like, well, why you didn't just get?
Oh wow!
So he took his spoon and ate out of my cup.
Oh wow!
And then waited for his ice cream to melt, and then ate the candy later.
He don't put mango.
Yeah, he does, but. He didn't, for some reason, he just didn't, he doesn't care to eat it together.
Oh, okay.
Like, I guess maybe next time I need to invest in like 2 cups. Yeah.
That's what I would do. Yeah.
But it's like, then you pay for the extra ounces for the cup and all that, it's just like a bunch of stuff. I was just like, oh my gosh, this boy.
Yeah.
So he ate all my ice cream. So we ended up eventually switching. So I gave him mine, and then I ate his, and then we went to Red Robin.
Gotcha. That's funny.
Which is crazy. And then outside of that, my kids are finally out of school. It took them forever to get out of school. I actually went to go see Bad Boys 4. Bad Boys 4. And that was amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, everybody keeps saying it's really good.
It's so good, y'all. If you haven't seen it, you need to go see it. But I told Brian I'm biased because Bad Boys is my favorite movie, like all-time favorite, like in this world. Bad Boys 2 specifically.
Yeah.
And I've always kept up with them. That's one movie I could watch over and over and over again.
Well, I haven't seen the 4th one. But I've seen the third one. The third one actually was really good.
Yeah. So the 4th one is obviously it pivots off of that, right? And then there's some extra stuff, and it's just funny. Oh my gosh, funny.
Okay.
So I loved it.
I have to check it out.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. You definitely got to go see it in the theaters. Like it was actually pretty good.
Okay.
I'm thinking about going back to see it again.
Okay.
Yeah, it was that good. And then it was another funny thing is that my kids don't know I went. I actually snuck to go see it.
You say your kids don't know you went to the movies? For real?
No.
Okay. You say you snuck to go see it.
I did.
That's crazy.
Because my oldest, she was like, I want to go see Bad Boys. And I was just looking like, oh.
Oh, wow.
I had to be quiet. I was like, I've already saw it.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
And it was so good.
That's funny. But I guess you said if you go a second time, would you take her? I guess the second time?
No.
Oh, no?
Not unless she asks.
Oh,
I'm gonna sneak away.
She hadn't asked that. Was she saying? Or she not asking?
I mean, it's in that moment.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Unless she say, hey, I'm gonna. So then my cousin, he actually called me and was like, because I actually took my little cousin. He was like, you and Junior went to go see the movie. I'm gonna take Maya and we're gonna go see it since y'all didn't take Maya. I was like, oh, that's okay. We gonna go with y'all too.
Oh wow. So you really like the movie then?
I do. I really like that.
That's one thing about me, man. I've never been a person that, even movies I love, I've never been a person where I can like watch the same movie multiple times.
How many times have you seen Friday? Once?
I've seen it a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but Friday, from beginning to end, I've probably watched it maybe like 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
You know, I mean, that movie's been out
for
25 years. Yeah. You know, I think the average person would say they've seen Friday way more than 4 or 5 times. You know what I mean? Like normally I'll just like, if I'm flicking through the TV, I'll see it, I'll laugh at it, I'll turn it there for maybe 15, 20 minutes, laugh for a little bit, and I'll go on to something else.
Yeah.
I just don't know. It's just something about me where I don't like watching.
You like fresh news.
Yeah, I just don't like
stuff.
watching the same thing over and over and over. Even stuff that I like, because Friday is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, you know. So
do you ever watch like a series of anything?
Oh yeah, I watch a series. Yeah, but I won't watch the same series like. But
what about? I know you won't watch it over and over again, but have you ever watched something where, like, I'm a Law and Order fan, right? Mm-hmm. So I can literally, no matter what season it is, if I'm flicking the TV and there's nothing on TV, I can watch Law and Order over again, even though I may have seen the episode again. Do you have anything like that? Jeopardy?
Nah, I mean, Jeopardy's normally new episodes. I don't think I've watched like repeat episodes of Jeopardy. I would say, honestly, out of all the shows I can think of that come to mind, Law and Order, like you said, I'm like, when I was younger, like high school, and then like even like in my mid-20s, I would say, I watched Law and Order a lot. But I haven't kept up with Law and Order, man, the last probably like 8-9 years, you know what I'm saying? So, so if I'm flipping through the channels and I see Law and Order on, I'll watch it. I probably haven't seen the episode. Maybe I have. I don't know, depending on how far back they are showing the episode. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I don't know. It's just something about me. It'd be a really, really good movie. And like, I know people who watch movies over and over again because they like it. Like, I don't do that. Like, I just watch it once. If it comes back on and it's on, I may kind of catch my attention for a little bit. But nah, I just don't watch movies over and over again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty much my week. I really didn't do much this week. I was supposed to go to the beach yesterday, but it was kind of cloudy, so I didn't really want to go on a cloudy day. Yeah. And then this upcoming weekend, we're gonna go see Inside Out. I keep saying In and Out like it's a burger place. Right. Inside Out. That's where we're gonna go see. So I have tickets booked for that, and then we have Juneteenth coming up.
Oh yeah, definitely excited about Juneteenth coming up.
And it's a federal holiday. What? Yeah. The funniest thing that I've seen in regards to Juneteenth is I saw on the streets, you know how on the light posts they'll have like advertisement for different holidays, whether it's St. Patrick's Day or, you know, all the different holidays or whatever, 4th of July. I seen this Juneteenth poster on a light, and it was like a little advertisement, and it had 2 white people, and it said Happy Juneteenth.
Oh, for real?
That was a week.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. That's funny.
I was like, okay, that's different.
Yeah, that's definitely different. That's definitely different. Let me see. This past weekend, what did I do, man? It seemed like it was so long ago, man. This week seemed like it's been a long week to me for some reason. Been. I know Sunday, I went to a surprise brunch. My buddy, Jerome, shout out to my boy Rome, he had a brunch for his wife. His wife turned 35, so they had a surprise brunch down at the Cavalier. I hadn't eaten at the Cavalier, man, in a long, long, long time.
I don't think I've actually ever eaten there.
Eaten there before? Yeah. I had eaten there, man. It was definitely before the pandemic when I ate there. So it's probably like 5 or 6 years ago. But we had brunch there, and it was nice. I had some shrimp and grits. It was good. The only thing about the Cavalier, it's funny. I've only eaten there one time before, and this was 5 or 6 years ago. And it reminded me when I had the food there. again this time, is they don't put that much seasoning on their food, man. Their food be so bland, man. It's good, but it's just it's missing something. You know how you eat some food sometimes just missing a little love or something in the food, man. Yeah, man. You know, it's just like it's just something, man. But it was still solid, man. So we went to brunch. Brooke and I did, and it was cool, man. They had some good news. They surprised us that they're expecting again. My buddy Jerome, he has 2 daughters right now, and they're really trying for a son, for a boy. And he has a brother that I'm really, really good friends with as well, my boy Tyrone. He has 3 daughters. So amongst both of them, they're really close to each other. They got 5 girls and no boys. And so it was crazy because they said that they told us they were expecting. And another thing is they said they're expecting twins. So I'm like, dang, bro. So you going from not just 2 to 3, you going from 2 to 4. And so he was like, yeah, man. So I'm like, at least that increases the opportunities or chances of you having a boy. You know what I mean? So he was like, yeah. So they're excited about that. I'm excited for them, as well. So that was pretty cool going to the brunch. It was really, really nice weather. We had sat outside and everything. So that was cool. And then my kids had a concert, like a end of the year concert that they always do every single year on Sunday after that. So we went right there after that. And it's funny, as you said, ice cream. We after ours, after that concert, we ended up going to Cold Stone and eating Cold Stone ice cream. And it's funny, like we got in the house, everybody likes a different ice cream. What is your favorite ice cream place, like locally?
Oh, favorite.
Like between because we go to, you may not even been to some of these places, but we go to obviously like Dairy Queen, Sonic, Brewster's, Cold Stone, and I think that's pretty much it. Those 4 are the main. I mean, we go to other ones here and there, but out of those 4, what is your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
I don't have a favorite. I have a favorite ice cream. My favorite ice cream is cookie dough.
Oh, that's my favorite too. Yeah.
But
love cookie dough.
Outside of, and then my backup.
Ben and Jerry's cookie dough is really, really good.
Well,
too.
See, I'm not. So I like desserts, but I'm not as good. I'm not a person to break down the dessert, right?
Yeah.
So you have some people who really love ice cream, and so they're like, oh yeah, this ice cream is better than this. If you ask me what ice is good, because I'm an ice chewer, I can identify some good ice.
Ice? Okay.
Because that's my thing.
Yeah.
But ice cream, as long as it's cookie dough, I'm good.
Look, I'm an ice cream.
And I can tell when it's frosted. I don't like that. But outside of that, it's okay.
I'm an ice cream guy. I like ice cream. And there's a significant difference in different different brands of ice cream. It's a significant difference. And it's at a point where, at least for me, because I like cookie dough, like you said, a lot. That's my favorite. It almost makes other cookie doughs, once you've had some really good ones, it makes other cookie doughs don't taste that good for you. It actually kind of makes it taste like that.
So what's the best? Out of all those 4 places?
In my humble opinion, I like Cold Stone a lot.
Okay.
I like Cold Stone a lot.
They put a lot of cookie dough in it?
Yeah, they put a good amount in there. Yeah, and I like how they
chop it up.
They chop it up, you know what I mean? And they combine the ingredients. Cause I normally get cookie dough, and I like peanut butter too. I'm a indulgent guy. But I have
So you put peanut butter in your
they have an ice cream that's called Cookie Don't You Want Some. I think I said it right. Cookie Don't You Want Some. So it has cookie dough in it. It has fudge in it. It has a little bit of cookies and cream or something in it as well.
See, now that I don't like. I don't like fudge with my cookie dough. So if you go to Dairy Queen, I think they put fudge on the bottom of the cookie dough blizzard. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I always tell them no, because I remember one time I had it. And I was eating. I was like, something is wrong with this cookie dough. I couldn't figure it out. And I don't know who I was talking to. And it was like, I think there's chocolate in there. And I was like, scoop down. So
you don't like hot fudge at all?
Not in the cookie dough. Correct. Okay. If I eat hot fudge, it's got to be traditional, what they call those old school things with the bananas.
Oh, banana split.
Yeah, that. It's got to be like that, where you have your 3, you put your chocolate on one, strawberry, whatever. And maybe some nuts on top of a chocolate fudge, but I don't like I don't like chocolate fudge amongst my flavored ice creams.
Gotcha. So for me, my favorite is Cold Stone. I like Cold Stone a lot.
Okay.
And it's funny because Brooke, she likes Brewster's a lot. And
Where is that?
Brewster's there's one right off of, there's a couple of them. There's one off of Virginia Beach Boulevard.
Okay.
like over like near Newtown. There's one off of Kempsville Road. That's the one we go to. It's a little bit closer. Like,
does it look like a stand, like a?
Yep. Yeah.
Is it by Indian River in Kempsville?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
I think I know what I've seen it before. I've just never stopped there. Because there's another ice cream type place on Battlefield, right? Down in Chesapeake towards Cedar Road. Or is that Dairy Queen?
That's Dairy Queen. Oh. There's Dairy Queen over there too. Yeah. I've been to that Dairy Queen before too. Yeah. But it's funny because Brooke likes Brewster's a lot, and I think Brewster's is good too. It tastes like real ice cream. It's like real good quality. But we've eaten that for so many years because she likes it that I've kind of went away from going to Cold Stone. But recently we've gotten Cold Stone a couple of times, and I'm like, man, I don't know why I ever went away from Cold Stone. Man, that joint's so good. My kids love Dairy Queen. They love it. So it's like we be having to pick and choose which place we're gonna go to, because they like one more than they'll eat it. They like all ice cream, but we have our favorites in the house as far as which place we like to go to. So
now what's Brooke's favorite ice cream?
Her favorite ice cream is mint chocolate chip.
That's Jada's favorite ice cream.
I don't like mint chocolate chip at all. I don't like minty.
Does she like stuff. Mint with cookies and cream?
Yeah, she'll eat that. Yeah.
My daughter eats that. She when I go buy it for her, she's the only person that'll pretty much eat. She can eat a whole carton if I allow her to. She also
I'm also a person though when it comes to ice cream. I know we're going down this rabbit hole of ice cream right now, but I don't like fruity flavored ice cream. I know you kind of mentioned earlier like mango, even though it was frozen, even though it was yogurt when you said you went to Sweet Frog. Yeah, the ice creams I eat vanilla. Obviously, like, cookie dough, cookies and cream, that type of stuff. I don't really like chocolate or strawberry ice cream either. But I don't eat like, how some people like Brooke and my kids, they'll get like strawberry or cotton candy flavored ice cream. Like my kids love that stuff. Like I'm like, I don't eat fruity flavored ice cream.
I don't eat fruity flavored ice cream either.
Give me vanilla with some cookies and some peanut butter and some chocolate in it, and that's it. Like that's all I want.
Yeah, I don't eat fruity flavored ice cream. I just eat mango or strawberry
yogurt,
frozen yogurt, which to me is it's like a sorbet. It's like it's different than ice cream. I would never get like a peach cookies and cream or a strawberry cheesecake.
Or just like, what about just peach ice cream by itself?
No.
Okay. Yeah. No. I don't need that. I don't like just fruity ice cream. I just feel like those are like, you can't combine those. Like fruit, you can have fruit
or that one rainbow Superman something. You know what I'm talking about? The rainbow one?
Yeah.
I would never eat that.
Yeah. I'm good on all the above. So
all right, guys. So coming up in mortgage news, let me see. I wrote some stuff down because I was excited.
Oh.
So I know last week you guys saw that I talked about the Detroit or Ann Arbor man who went to court virtually and found out that he had a suspended, or it was brought up that he had a suspended license, and while he was on his virtual call, he was driving. So then he went to jail, right? So now he is currently out of jail, and he now has his permit. So hopefully,
that's crazy.
He will have a driver's license here soon, and he'll be eligible to drive.
I still can't get his face out of my head when he realized what was going on. The judge was like, are you kidding me? He was rocking back and forth looking like this.
And the dude,
my man had the big lips. He was like, the realization just set in, and he was like, I'm behind the wheel, and I don't even have no license.
I can't even lie.
Yeah, I
can't even say this a backdrop.
He's like, hold on, I'm pulling over right now. So like, he's like, he's saying it. Like, it ain't like you like, yo, I'm in the passenger seat. I can be like, yo, flip flop something on. He's like, he had a little look on his face. He was like, oh God, I just got caught. That joke was hilarious, man.
That was. And then also I saw this week, and I'm pretty sure that you did, that the VA, so let me backtrack a little bit. Traditionally, the VA did not allow for a veteran to pay any brokerage fees or any real estate commissions on the buy side. Yeah. That was something that they just completely restricted just because of the norm of buyers getting closing cost assistance from sellers. So that was one of the things that they could not pay. But due to the NAR settlement problems that are happening right now, VA has temporarily lifted that, and now veterans are allowed to pay real estate commissions, so they're not just
reasonable
completely
ones. Yeah, they said that's the word they use.
right.
Reasonable ones. Yeah.
So they are not excluded from being able to purchase. Now, what does that mean for a veteran? Can you include it in your loan? No, it'll be an out-of-pocket expense for you. There may be some gray areas where it could potentially happen, but as of right now, you should expect to be able to pay those commissions and fees out of your pocket.
Yeah. I saw that too. Then it came out earlier this week. So I was actually kind of surprised. I know the VA pretty much, they've been making all the, making announcements that, they're staying put with what, their guidance is when it comes to, a VA eligible buyer and how they're able to, pay or not be able to pay certain things. And that if they were to make a change, it would take, a lot, a lot for that to happen. So for them to make that change even before the settlement and even before these changes are taking place, that does obviously show the importance of the change that's happening, and then just them trying to at least, even the playing field when it comes to, a VA buyer and what they're able to do, just so they're able to compete when it comes to, buying homes. So
yeah, and then I also saw, and that's a temporary change until they actually get to court in August. So things could revert back to how they were before. We just don't know, because I saw that there's another state, I think it's Massachusetts or somewhere north of Virginia, one of the states, and I believe on the East Coast, they're actually fighting back, and they're not abiding by the rules set by NAR yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see how that, I'm going to try to find it.
Okay.
And let you know.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that. I will say, though, this week, when it comes to interest rates, we had a good week. Again, I'm always going to scream from the mountaintops when we have a good week in rates, because, lately we've had a lot more bad weeks or red weeks than green weeks.
We have.
So we had a couple of things that came out in the news that changed, kind of the landscape of where we are when it comes to rates. So we had the CPI report come out this week on Wednesday, I believe it was, and it came in very favorable. Even the core CPI was even favorable as well, which it typically doesn't or hasn't been, as of late. So that actually helped rates. I've seen rates drop as low as even a half a point when it comes to certain different products, depending on your credit score. So that was good. That was promising.
That was really good. I actually locked 2 rates in this week.
Yeah, I locked a couple myself too.
My one conventional at 6.625.
Okay.
And one at 7.125. 2 totally different interest rates. Yeah. But ultimately the same product.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good stuff, man. I had a couple people I locked in this week as well. Something that I want to mention that we kind of, been talking about VA. A couple of things I wanted to kind of chat about VA loans is, the moisture and termite inspection, right? So I don't think we really dived into that very much. But the moisture and termite inspection is something that's required on all VA purchases.
It is.
All VA loans in general, because you can even do a VA refinance and still be required as well.
Absolutely.
But, just making sure that folks out there understand and know that. A lot of times you'll have agents that will request a moisture and termite inspection, no matter the loan type at all. But as far as from the lending aspect of it, it is required on a VA loan.
Yeah.
And it's important. I mean, a lot of times, especially here,
especially here,
yeah. We have a lot of water.
High.
Yeah. And so therefore, there's a lot of moisture that gets, in people's crawl spaces and, just different areas, right, of the home. So, also with termites and all that as well, that comes along with those things. So just being able to understand, what that is, because sometimes, you'll have, we see the moisture and termite inspections come through. Sometimes the company will suggest treatment, to be done, which, just it's more of a preventive thing, and sometimes there's actual significant repairs that needs to be done. And a lot of times you're dealing with the foundation of the home, that's something that a lot of people don't, think about when you're buying a home. So I definitely wanted to make sure we shedded some light on the importance of the, moisture and termite inspection, and that it is a requirement when it comes to, your VA purchases. I had one recently where the listing agent just totally forgot about it. Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah. So we're actually closing the purchase today. But it was something that the listing agent, I think she went on vacation and she just didn't do it. And so finally the buyer's agent had been reaching out to her, and then the buyer's agent just said, hey, I know somebody who, let's just go ahead and get it done. I know somebody who can do it. She's familiar. She has a familiarity with the company that she works with, pretty frequently. And we were able to get it done and everything. And there was some treatment that was requested that was done as well prior to closing. We actually had to hurry up and rush and get it done. But, I don't know if the listing agent just was a bad agent as far as communication or whatnot.
She probably was just worried about going on vacation.
Yeah,
but you know how it is.
Yeah.
You go on vacation, you already, a week before vacation, you in vacation mode.
Yeah.
Because you're looking forward to that vacation, especially if you ain't had one in a while.
Yeah.
It just probably slipped her mind. She probably wrote, they probably wrote the contract, they put it on the seller, because either side can get it done. And so she probably just was like, oh, shoot, this was one that I was supposed to do.
Yeah. So just make sure that, folks understand that that's important. And like I said, I've seen moisture and termite inspections where they found, joist damage to the home, some damage to the piers, under the home as well, that have been $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 worth of damage. And if you never had that moisture and termite inspection, you wouldn't know that.
Correct. Yeah.
And so that's something that I just, even though it's required on VA purchases, I would recommend just any home buyer out there, because of the loan lender not requiring it, on maybe an FHA or a conventional purchase. I would recommend, if you're going to buy a home, just get it, especially if the home is on a crawl space. If it's on a slab, the chances of that being, happening or whatnot is very, very, very slim. A lot of times, you'll see your moisture, your termite issues on homes that are on crawl spaces.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I would just always recommend. That's something I just want to make sure that I, shedded some light on. I feel like we haven't talked about that very much, when it comes to that.
Now, what I've seen here lately with a couple of my deals is I had one buyer who came over. She was ready to buy. I asked her, did she have an agent? And she was like, yeah, I have one that I'm working with. So then I reached out to the agent to introduce myself, because I had never worked with this person before, because the lady found me. I had helped her son buy in the past. And so she circled back and came back to me, right?
Yeah.
So she's now looking to potentially drop her agent and buy a house from her mother's neighbor, or her mother lives in the same neighborhood, and they want to do a for sale by owner, not including agents.
Oh, a good old FSBO.
Yes.
Okay.
Good old FSBO. But they were potentially going under contract, and, we had to have a conversation about closing costs. So when I had asked her how much he was potentially selling the house to her for, she mentioned, oh, well, he's going to give it to me for this particular amount. So I Googled the house, I looked up the assessed value, and the value came in. The assessed value was the same amount as what the house was being sold to her. So I was like, oh, okay, that's no problem. I said, so are you going to ask them to pay your closing costs? And so she was, blown away. Like, she was like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. And so she was like, well, how do I go about doing that? And I was like, well, this is where your real estate agent would come in. But I gave her, a little bit of the advice, like, hey, this is what you could potentially do. I was like, but full disclosure, you probably should get a real estate agent. Even if it's just one agent working for one side, at least it'll get you through some of the bumps and hurdles. But I was like, because there's a lot that you don't know that you're going to need assistance with. And there's some things that I can't advise you on because I'm not licensed in that field. I may know certain things, but I can't act as your advisor on writing contracts. I just can't do that, right? Yeah. But anyway, long story short, they were attempting to negotiate between themselves, and meanwhile, there was a wholesaler who told them that he was an attorney. And when they got to the point of writing the contract, she felt that things was a little fishy, because she was reading the contract, and she was like, well, why is it that this business is selling me the house and not this person? Come to find out, this person had jumped in between and was trying to conduct a transaction so they could make money off of the deal. And in that moment, they then fired this man, and now they're looking to potentially eliminate that person to work together.
Okay.
Once again. And these are all things that an agent can detect right away.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not out in the field as a lender with you. I think that having a real estate agent is very important. They play a major role with negotiating deals on your behalf. And they can assist with some of the documentation and paperwork that you may not understand.
Correct.
So if you're going to go into an agreement of purchasing a house without a real estate agent, you better do some research, man. You need to know exactly what you're doing, because you can get yourself into a lot of trouble.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. That's 100%. I mean, nothing I can really add on that one. I mean, that's exactly the case, you know, when it comes to for sale by owner. I mean, I don't really feel that you should be doing it, man. I feel like there's people there in place for those specific reasons to help you execute buying and selling of real estate, because somebody's needs and understanding is not going to be able to be met if there's not a professional involved. So
exactly.
Yeah, I highly
there's
recommend
timeliness, there's
agent.
Requirements, there's certain inspections that need to be done.
Yep.
There's certain things that you can negotiate that you didn't negotiate.
Yeah.
Hell, you could be listing your house for way less than what you can get if it was on the market.
Yeah.
So there's just so much
the agents have the access
that
to
they can offer you.
Yeah, to be able to see those things, you know, see kind of what the top of the market is for your home.
Absolutely.
You know, give you some understanding of why, and, you know, all, you know, meet whatever the requirements of what you're trying to accomplish. They'll be able to, you know, assist you in that regard. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Very important, guys.
Yeah. Something else I wanted to mention as well is cash out refinances, like with VA. That's something I've gotten a lot of calls recently about HELOCs. You know, people wanting to do home equity line of credits, wanting to borrow equity for various reasons. The main reason I've seen recently, though, has been to consolidate debt. You know, right now we are in a situation where there's a lot of credit card debt out there. There's a lot of debt in general.
Yeah.
You know, America, we're in debt, you know.
Yes.
You know, so it's just one of those things where people are looking at different ways to maybe leverage an asset or leverage assets that they have to be able to consolidate the debt and be able to, you know, just kind of ease their monthly output when it comes to their bills. So I have a couple of people, got one particular guy stuck out of my mind. I talked to him a couple of days ago that helped buy a house a couple of years ago. Since then, he said he's developed some credit card debt, and he's a military guy. He's active duty. He's actually in the Air Force. And, you know, what we're doing is we're with VA, you know, there's different requirements depending on your credit score. You can go sometimes 90% loan to value on the refinance, or even sometimes 100%. And so that's huge because, you know, on other loan products, you know, us civilians out there, you know, 80%. You can only go 80%, you know, when it comes to a house that you own as your primary residence. And so that just allows you to, you know, in this short time, he's owned the house for 2 years. He's right now at about 80% of what he owes versus what the value currently is. So he's able to borrow about $30,000 to $40,000 to utilize towards debt consolidating. And he's really going to put him in a situation where he's going to save about $700 a month. You know, so he's really excited about it. We kind of getting everything in place to do this for him. But just want to mention it out there that, you know, if you are military, if you are a VA, you know, and you have a VA loan currently on your home, there might be an opportunity for you to do some type of consolidating with a cash out refinance. And we went over both options. We looked at HELOCs, and HELOCs also have loan to value restrictions as well. So if you're military, in most cases, if you're really trying to get or tap into the majority of your equity and go above about 90%, then you're going to probably want to look at doing cash out refinances, because there's a lot of restrictions when it comes to HELOCs and how high they let you go when it comes to your loan to value. So I just wanted to share that, you know, on the pod this week, because that's something that I've seen come up a couple of times in the last couple of days. Yeah.
So it's funny now that you're talking about money, right? So something that happened to me this week was I have and I'm talking to all teenage parents, right? If you get kids less than 14 years old, this comment doesn't even apply to you. But I have a 15-year-old that is getting ready to get her permit. So of course I do my due diligence of calling my insurance company just to kind of get an idea as to how much my insurance premium is going to go up once she begins to drive and what that looks like, right? So I called, and full transparency, for my 2023 SUV, my insurance is $683 for 6 months, right? Which I don't know what that is monthly, about $115 or so, right? And I pay my premium in full. I don't do a monthly payment. That's just me, my preference, right? So I call and they wanted, as a permitted driver, to increase my premium from $683 to $1857.
Hold on, what? Three times the amount?
Yes.
Why?
Because I don't know.
Oh.
I'm assuming because she has a permit, though.
That can be right.
Well, it was right? So,
jeez.
Something about that didn't even sound right to me. I was like, what the hell? Like,
right.
I know for sure my parents didn't, because I drove right on time. Like, I drove
that's what I said. Something
14 and 9 months where
I know people who've had multiple accidents and their insurance is nowhere near that. Right. That don't make sense.
Exactly.
So a permitting person, that doesn't make sense.
Right. So, I had to use old handy dandy Google. So I Googled it and was like, hey, what insurance companies do not increase your insurance when you have a permit, but it increases when you have an actual license? So I found a couple companies out there, guys, that do not increase your insurance for a permitted driver. So then this week I had to do the due diligence of switching my insurance to a new company to afford the insurance for the next 6 months. So I was actually happy to be able to do that, because I swear, guys, I did not want to pay an extra $1,300 for her to drive when I still have to be in the car with her. I'm like, this is crazy.
That's funny.
Like, I paid the $1,300 for you to drive on your own, but if I'm still in the car with you, that absolutely makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
So if you are a parent that has a child that's getting ready to get their permit, just simply Google what companies allow it and do your due diligence of shopping insurance to make sure you save yourself some money.
I agree, 100%. 100%.
By the time your kids start driving, insurance gonna be out the roof.
Nah, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something different. I don't know. That just doesn't seem right. Like I said, that's crazy.
It was crazy. Yeah, I was thrown back. And then, another thing that I was really thrown back about was the fact that my truck has so many different safety features. Like, it has I don't know what some of this stuff is, but I'm going to try to explain it to you guys. So if you're getting ready to crash into someone, the car will stop itself.
Yeah.
Right? It has like the steering wheel feature where if you drift into another lane, it'll pull you back.
Yeah.
It's got light up features that tell you when people are next to you.
Yep.
It's got literally cameras all the way around 360 on this SUV. So it's like, even with all these security features, you're charging me $1,300. And now if I go buy her an old school car that ain't got backup camera, then what?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I remember when I didn't even have none of these features.
Yeah.
And if I hit somebody, that's just what it was.
Yeah. I remember that too. Yeah.
And you drove a stick shift, right? I think you remember. I remember you saying that. I've never even drove a stick shift.
Yeah, my first vehicle, I had a Toyota 4Runner. It was like an 89, I think it was. But
oh man.
But yeah, I drove a stick shift, man. Yeah, that was cool. It was difficult, but any person out here who's listening who been in that situation where you really, really want to get your license and you really want to start driving, the only vehicle that was readily available at the house was a stick shift. So you know what? I had to learn how to drive a stick shift.
Yep.
Because that's what I was going to be able to drive. You know what I mean? Because my parents weren't going to let me drive their cars. They had nice cars. So they weren't going to let me drive their cars. And plus they were driving them. So this was an older truck that my dad had for a while that was just sitting in our driveway. And so I was like, well, shoot. So every Saturday morning he would be outside because he had a motorcycle. He'd be outside like cleaning his motorcycle, just tweaking it, doing stuff to it. And he was like, hey, if you want to learn how to drive a stick shift, you got to come out here with me on Saturday. So Saturday mornings, we would be out there. I'd be messing with him, helping him do the stuff that he was doing on his truck. And then he would spend like 15, 20 minutes every Saturday just showing me. We would drive around the neighborhood, just get in there, showing how to switch gears. We would go to the local elementary school, show me how to switch gears and you know how to decelerate and accelerate and all that. So that's how I learned. It didn't take me that long either, man.
No, I mean,
it's crazy because I drove that vehicle for about 4 years. And it just, obviously with it being so old, it just ended up giving out. But I miss like driving. Like, I mean, obviously you're doing more. But I feel like, I don't know, it just feels like you're in more control of the vehicle. I don't know. It's kind of just, I don't know. People who've driven a stick, they would understand what I mean when it comes to that.
But Well,
and it's better on gas too. With these gas prices, it's better on gas too.
It is. Yeah, that is right. Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I got my first permit, and you probably got some funny stories too, but I remember my mom used to always send me to the grocery store. Did your mom do that? Like when you first got your, like you were the runner. Like I was a runner.
I got a funny story about that, but go ahead. Yeah.
She'll run out of eggs, run out of something, go to the store, go get this for me, right?
Yeah.
So it was this one particular time that she sent me to the store, but I needed to go and like see my friends. Like I was dead set on them seeing me drive a car, right?
Yep.
So what I did not know was this whole time, every time that I would leave the house, my dad would reset the mile thing, the trip. Okay. Like if you remember, old school cars had this little button by your dash, and you could clock your trip to see how many miles you drove.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I didn't notice that. Mm-hmm. Ever. And so I went to my friend's house and I went past the grocery store, hung out, and then I was on my way back. As I was on my way back, my tire got flat. But I was too far away from the grocery store to where I could justify where I was at.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, okay, I got to at least make it into the vicinity so that I could just say, well, I made a wrong turn and then I had to make a U-turn and that's how I ended up where I was. So I drove on this flat tire on the, matter of fact, it wasn't even a flat tire anymore. I mean, it was down to the rotors.
Rim. Yeah.
And I'm driving on the rim rotor, whatever it is. And so then I finally called my dad. I'm like, hey, I got a flat tire. So he looks at the tire. He was like, what did you do? Like, because my dad is foreign. So he's like, what did you do with the tire?
Yeah.
And I'm like, nothing.
Oh, wow. You said nothing?
Nothing. I just got a flat tire. He was like, shit. He used to always say that, like, yeah, right. And so he then had to have somebody come tow the car. He had to replace not only the tire, but the rotor. And let's just say I never did that again.
That's wild. So my situation wasn't as bad, but like you said, same thing. A lot of times I remember, growing up, being a military family, my mother, we would once a month go to the commissary on payday and we would get a whole bunch of groceries. I remember because we would have 2 different grocery carts and I would be the one to push it. So my mom would have one cart and I would have the other cart. And a lot of times my little sister, she would be carrying her or having her like in a little, in a little thing or whatever. And so I remember what would happen is, we would run out before that month came. Sometimes we would run out of like eggs, milk, your necessity things that you kind of run through on a day-to-day basis. And so there used to be a grocery store up the street called Farmer Jack. It changed into Food Lion, many years ago, but it used to be Farmer Jack when we were younger. And so my mom, because it was probably it was within the same neighborhood that we lived in, it was probably about a mile away, maybe a little over a mile away from our house. When I had my permit, my mom used to let me, like you said, go and get it. But she always would normally let me do it in a time where it was at least like not a lot of people going to be driving. So it'd be like a Sunday evening or a Sunday morning or, just, one of those times where it's not as many people, right?
Right.
So I never forget it. What I used to do is, because it's a straight shot there. You go down College Park Boulevard and you make a left and then the shopping center is right there. What I used to do, though, is I would get my mom's car. My mom had a red Lexus, an ES300. I would get my mom's car, and I would take the long way because I would go down Lovell Green. I would go over to the basketball court because all my boys out there playing basketball, just hanging out. I would go there. I would turn up 103 Jams we had growing up. So 103 Jams, the radio real loud, and like play the music. Say what's up to my boys or whatever. And they're like, oh, Bryan, you killing it, or whatever.
That's like that one scene in Paid in Full.
Yep, exactly. So I would drive by, be like, hey, what's up, or whatever, right? And I remember the next week at school, that's all everybody would talk about. Oh, Bryan, he drove past the court in the Lex, blah, blah, blah. And so what I did, though, I messed up is, and my mom sometimes it's funny, but sometimes my mom would ask me, and I would lie to her. She's like, it took you long. I'm like, yeah, Mom, I was looking down the aisle, I couldn't find it, whatever. I was just, because I went the long way. So anyway, I would always turn the music up real loud and blast the music, like I said, the radio. And so one day, I never forget, I did that. Then came home, think everything's cool. The next morning, my mom used to take me to school sometimes. Next morning, my mom she would always turn the gospel station, right? And a lot of times I would be smart and turn it back to the gospel station before I got out the car, right? But this time I must have forgot, right? So my mom would get in the car, she turned the gospel station on that next morning to go to school, and like the speaker is like broo, broo. It's just like making this weird noise, right? And then she's like, Bryan, did you turn the music up? Did you have the music up really loud? And did you blow one of the speakers? I was like, nah, Mom, I didn't do that. And she was like, you did, Bryan, you did, or whatever. And then so she showed me or whatever, and I was like, oh man. And I was like, please don't tell Dad. And so she actually looked out. She didn't tell my dad, you know what I mean? And so she just said that, it happened or whatever.
That's funny.
Yeah, but yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah. It's funny because now, watching my daughter and how she moved and how I was and how I moved, I recognize bullshit so quick.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. As a parent.
I look at her like, do I look like I'm stupid? Like, and sometimes she be looking back at me like, yep.
Yeah. Kids will stand on. They'll stand on it, man. But
I'll be like, nah.
Yeah, though. They're your kids, man. When they're your kids, my parents used to tell me that all the time. Like my dad, and I even had a conversation with my dad recently, and I forget what we were talking about. He was like, I was like, matter of fact, it was because my daughter, something I failed to mention, she had a competition this past Saturday that we went to, a gymnastics competition, and she got her very first trophy, which she was ecstatic about. So all my, parents came, everybody came out to support her. Excuse me, me and my dad were having a sidebar conversation, and he was talking to me, and he said something. I'm like, Dad, how did you know that? And because it's something like that we never talked about. Right?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but I just remember me having a moment like, yo, how did you know that?
Yeah.
He was like, you're my son. I know you.
Right.
I was like, yep, that's about right. That sounds right. Yeah, because I look at my kids and I know them. When they doing things they're not supposed to, how they act, all that, how they looking, like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? After a while, so it was just crazy. My dad, because me and my dad, we were just having a conversation. He was like, yeah, it is. And I was like, Dad, I didn't even tell you that. How you know? He's like, son, I know you. I was like, yeah, that's right.
It's true.
That's right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, that definitely wraps up today's episode. You can follow me at SKB_mortgage.
Yep. You can follow me at Bryan, BRYAN_Royster.
And you can also follow the podcast at Let's Talk BS PD on social media and TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we will see you next week.
See you next week.